I want you to listen to this. Pay attention to how this gentleman talks. He was a great quarterback, this fella, and a good guy. But note his articulation skills and consider this conversation.
But not one time he came back and said, hey, man, it's going to be tough for you because you're black. It never was like that.
I think sometimes when we talk about the lack of black quarterbacks, especially historically, we dance around the reasons why. And there are a number of reasons.
Here we have an Oriental woman who weighs 96 pounds, going to tell us about the dynamics and the prejudicial reasons why black players don't last as quarterbacks. This is utterly hysterical. But let's listen to Hop Singh's little sister here.
There's socioeconomic reasons. I think there's outright bias, coded language. But also, there are a lot of black quarterbacks, younger, who have been told to change positions. We talk a lot about Lamar Jackson being, the case study for that, but it goes back so much earlier than that.
I wonder if we'd do a survey on how many Asian children are taught not to do math, because society would demand that they're too mathematical in skill and orientation and industry. Could you imagine? But we're supposed to demand that black athletes who do not, to this day, show the ability to be the mental processor at the quarterback position that Northern Europeans tend to be. Let me be frank. There are not a lot of Italians that play quarterback. Because being a quarterback today is a CEO's job. And it is a mathematical job. Okay? So inherent to the position is mental faculties and acuity of processing. Those are traits found, for instance, in Germanic peoples, English peoples, Irish peoples. Okay, this is not racism by choice. It's Darwinism. Okay, it's selection of the fittest. Nobody says that there are too many great black athletes at the wide receiver position. We need to make more of them into pulling guards. This is absolutely absurd, and real racism here exists. When you listen to these people, I would like you to listen to Jeremy Schaap. I wonder if somebody would say to Jeremy, there's far too many Jews represented at ESPN and in the media and broadcasting of sports. Especially considerate how so few of you ever played football or any sport.
It goes to elementary school. Do you see that changing now that there are more success stories at the highest levels of the league?
Well, I think the most important guy this year was Lamar Jackson. But I think we all got to take our hats off, number one, to Ozzie Newsome and Coach Harbaugh and his offensive coordinator to come up with a plan to get the best out of Lamar Jackson.
Let me tell you what that means. Lamar Jackson is one of the greatest athletes to ever play football. He's a pretty good quarterback, too. But what you just heard this gentleman say and allude to is they developed an offense that would let him do what? Utilize his athleticism, his running skills. Kind of going back to mama. Not developing a pocket presence and having the acumen vis-a-vis like Tom Brady, who stands in the pocket, reads defenses on echelon in an intellectual way, and then picks them apart with his arm, not his feet. Okay? But we're not going to say that. We're going to say it's racism.
And, when you see another Lamar Jackson coming out of college now, they're going to take the game plan of Baltimore. They're not going to worry about switching him to another position. They're going to say, let's see what Baltimore did.
Even everything he did in college, there was skepticism about him. Now, we all agree, Doug, that this has been in many ways the year of the black quarterback, but it is not
Hear that?
the year of the black head coach in the NFL.
So now we'll move on to the coaching part.
NFL team. What's going on? I mean, you talked about,
Let's cue up Marvin Gaye. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, Jeremy? Here it is, Jeremy. The brighter and more intelligent players end up being coaches. And by the way, usually they're not great players. Look at baseball. Great players, Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, Willie Mays, they don't make good coaches. Jeremy. The guys who make great coaches are the guys who generally ride the pines. And they watch everything. Lou Piniella. Okay? And they become great coaches, Tommy Lasorda, because they're racking their brain trying to understand the game better and better because they never make it as players. Again, it's natural selection. Being a manager isn't the same as being a player. Isn't the same as being a GM. Isn't the same as being a CEO or an owner. What makes you good at one thing might have very little to do with being a player, for instance. You schmuck. Okay? You don't just get to the ball because you're black or white. It's how good you are. Athletes, coaches, CEOs of teams don't wake up trying to fill out a color chart. They want to win. They want asses in the seats. They want to make money, Jeremy. You get that? So stop pumping your social liberalism and communism and sowing the seeds of racism. You never played sports. You're a jock sniffer, like your father. If you were ever in a locker room, you know that players, and I was, we don't care about what color you are. We want to win. And if the black kid is the best quarterback, we want him to be our quarterback. But as you go up the ladder to a professional level, the winnowing out of substandard players happens quickly and dramatically. You could be great in high school. You can't hit the curveball. You ain't making it in college or pros. Period, Jeremy. You want to be a wide receiver in the pros? You better be 4'4" or under in the 40. And you better have big hands, and you better know how to jump and catch. And nobody gives a crap if you're black or white. Tom Brady is the ultimate white guy. He runs the 40 in 2 days, not 4 seconds. But he's brilliant at processing, reading defenses, finding targets. That's math. It's intellect, not athleticism. You schmuck. What makes a guy a good doctor has nothing to do with whether or not he's good on the tennis court, Jeremy. So stop this crap. The same thing that you find quality-wise in a quarterback, you're going to find in a coach. What is his mental acuity and facility for managing the game? You schmuck. You communist. Why don't we talk about how many Jewish people are in the media and in broadcasting and start hiring more other people? And for this Asian dingbat, this female, this is why I utterly have contempt for these women in sports. What do you think this woman would do if a pulling guard racked her up and drove her over the bench? She'd find out real quick that it isn't racism. Football is about survival. It's not a contact sport. It's a collision sport. But guys like Jeremy Schaap have tried to change that. Pretty soon it'll be flag, fag football because anywhere you hit a guy today is wrong. They've ruined the game. My favorite football players, most of which were black. What does that make me a racist? You schmuck. You schmuck. Enough.